Thank you all so much for coming out today. My name is Jasmine. I organize with Community Movement Builders. And we are here today to say stop Cop City. We know that Cop City is going to be an urban warfare training facility where they will be having space to practice bomb detonations, tear gas explosions, a shooting range. They'll literally be building a mock city of Atlanta to practice how to repress, brutalize, and kill people. And so we find it ridiculous, we find it disgusting, we find it embarrassing that our mayor, Andre Dickens, would fix his mouth to say that black people want to be killed by the police, that black people want Cop City. We don't. We don't. We took to the streets in 2020 to demand an end to police terror in our communities, to demand accountability for the APD officers that murdered Rayshard Brooks while he was asleep in a car at a Wendy's. We took to the streets to demand that we defund and abolish the Atlanta Police Department, and yet here they are, right, investing 30 million of our public dollars, 60 million private dollars to build this urban warfare training facility. Right. And the mayor is saying that black people want this. The mayor must have forgotten that our ancestors were literally fighting abolition since they were brutally brought to this country. They were fighting for freedom, fighting the original police, right, the slave patrols that captured black bodies to take them back to their white masters. He's talking to the same black people whose elders were fighting here in these same streets in the 60s and the 70s to stop police occupation of our communities. Resistance to police, resistance to state violence is literally in our blood as black people. It is in our DNA. And so it's embarrassing to have this black misleadership class lying on our names, lying on our legacy, lying on our politics, lying on our beliefs. And it is not just Mayor Andre Dickens. We have Jason Dozier, we have Michael Julian Bond, and we have Antonio Lewis. We have the same Antonio Lewis who ran for city council on the names of people who were murdered by the Atlanta Police Department, who said that he was out there with us in the streets in 2020, and now is advocating for more money to the same police department, advocating for housing for that same police department. We know that just this week, Andre Dickens brought to City Council a proposal to give $500,000 of our COVID relief money to build housing for cops. Exactly. We don't support that. We've never supported that. And we know that any claim that we do is a lie. Now, why are they lying on our name? They're lying on our name because they want money from the same white corporations that are funding Cop City. Home Depot, Chick-fil-A, Coca-Cola, Norfolk Southern, AT&T, Cox Enterprises, who owns the AJC, so be careful where you get your information from.
That's right, that's right.
And this is not a new trend, right? We know in the 60s, this is when this alliance started. When the black misleadership class told the white people who own businesses, we will sell out our people, we will keep the black masses quiet, we will control them so that both of us can continue to make money. That's why they're lying on our name. And we're here to reject that. The jig is up. We can't be lied to. We can't be fooled. We don't need them speaking for us. Right? And this is a fight that we will win, that we are committed to winning.
That's right.
And so when we talk about winning, it's important to say, what do we mean when we say that we'll win? We mean no Cop City anywhere. Not in South Atlanta, not in DeKalb, not in North Atlanta, nowhere, right? We mean that we will free all our political prisoners. Free them all, especially in this moment the people being held on trumped-up domestic terrorism charges, many of which were just literally holding signs like y'all today that say "Stop Cop City."
That's right.
When we say that we will win, we mean that there will be an independent investigation into Tortuguita's murder. Because we can't trust the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, who's working with the same pigs that killed Tortuguita. When we say that we will win, we are meaning that this fight does not stop with Cop City. This is a fight for the liberation of all oppressed people here and abroad. And that's why it's disgusting that the mayor and that these corporations will talk about outside agitators. The reason that there are people coming from all over the world to support this fight is because this is a fight that affects all of us. The Atlanta Police Foundation admitted that 43% of the cops being trained at that facility will not be in Georgia. So when people come from Tennessee, from New York, from California, it's because they know that their local police might learn how to kill them better here. And when people come from abroad, they know that currently the Atlanta Police Department trains with the Israeli police. So talk about how Georgia State is putting that program together, the Gilly program. So the same techniques being used to brutalize black people are being used to practice genocide on the Palestinian people, and the same tactics being used to practice genocide on the Palestinian people are being used to brutalize black people right here. So when people come from all over the world to say "Stop Cop City," they're not outside agitators, they're standing in solidarity with us because this is a fight that affects us all. Now, if we are going to talk about outside agitators, let's talk about the real outside agitators. Let's talk about the police who come in and occupy our communities, who literally have homes being built for them in our communities to push us out. Those are the outside agitators. Let's talk about all the people gentrifying our neighborhoods, gentrifying our communities because of the policies put in place by city council, because of the money coming from these corporations to build luxury apartments, to build million-dollar homes, to raise our property taxes and our rents so we can't even stay in Atlanta. Those are the outside agitators that they don't want us to talk about. And so we are saying that we peep game, right? We know what's really going on. Just because these people are black does not mean that they are with us. They are not. Just because these corporations have DEI statements on their website, we know that their ultimate aim is to continue to exploit us. Tell us why they have $60 million for Cop City and not $60 million to pay their workers. Tell us why the city has $30 million for Cop City, but no money for affordable housing for the people. $500,000 for housing for cops, no money for the people. So we are here in solidarity together today to make it clear to the mayor that he's not going to keep lying on our names, to make it clear to these corporations that they're not going to continue to exploit us, to make it clear to both of them that that alliance that they set up in the 60s is going to fail. Because we as a people, we're stronger than that. We're stronger than any money and resources they could put together. And so I want to appreciate y'all for coming out here today. We're going to hear from a lot of really dope people that are going to keep the energy up. And so what I want us to do collectively is to get into some chants right before we get started. So when I say "Stop Cop City," I want y'all to say "Shut it down." All right? Stop Cop City! Shut it down! 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 No justice!
No peace!
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 All right, y'all. First up, we're going to hear from Tortuguita's mother.
Hello, my name is Teran. It's a very big pleasure to meet all of you, to be in this moment and to tell you that Tortuguita is alive. It's alive in our heart. It's alive in somewhere else, because I believe in eternal life. And we have to continue his legacy. He was giving food to the poor. His friends, his most dear friends, were people on the street. That every day he was giving food. And I have witness. I have witness that he was doing that. So we have to continue his legacy. We have to make him a hero. He's not a delinquency. He's not a bad person.
That's right.
He was a good person. He has a great heart. And he was giving food to people, working for the community. For him, people has a light inside, no matter the skin.
That's right.
Because we have light inside of us. And we have to believe. We have to believe, and we have to heal our wounds. We have to heal all that those bad people, not only the cops, many other people that are bad. Now we have to heal, because this land doesn't belong to a small group. This land belongs to everybody, and it has a legacy. Okay? We have talking about the Muskogee, that they have legacy for years, and we have to claim for them. The blood of my son have to speak, because that's my prayer. My prayer is that the blood of my son will speak in all our hearts. Okay? We are going to win. We are going to win, because we are in a good path. Love, caring. We are not talking about money or enrichment. We are talking about decency. Decency for poor people that are in the street, sleeping on the floor. Okay? It's not that embarrassing when you go to downtown and you see all those bodies sleeping on the street. That is the tourism that they want to give? No. We need to feed those people, give a job, a decent job. We give attention. Some of them, they cannot work. And that's what we have, that we can work, can give them. We are a community, and our community is international. International. The forest defenders are international. The ambientalists are international. Afro-descendants are international. And we have to continue the legacy of love, attention, taking care of people. Taking care of people. We need to heal ourselves. We need to work for ourselves first. Okay, here, now. Working together, putting ourselves together in our private room, praying to God, or praying whatever you like to pray. Because now it's so many things, and I believe in that. Everybody has the right to believe what they want to believe. So praise yourself and work together for the community. Work together for the community. All the forest defenders, I call them to come here to support us. All the people from different religions come here and help us. This is a matter of the earth. The earth, we are talking about the earth that is dying. The earth needs our love. The earth needs our attention. And we are We have conscience. We know that this is not right. And when we know that it's not right, we have to do what is right. We have to work together. Give us support together. And continue in this community conscientization. Community conscientization. All of us, we need to be together in one step, going further. Don't go by yourself. When we go to activities, stay together. Don't go outside by yourself. We need to make understand that this is the right thing to do. We are the correct people. We are right because we are driving by love, by caring, by concern, and we love all those. I love you, and I know that you love me. I love you. You love me. We love each other. This is a matter of love, caring. We have to stick together.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next up we have Monica from PSL.
Everybody give another hand for Miss Belcalis. All right. Viva, viva Tortuguita! Viva, viva Tortuguita! Viva, viva Tortuguita! Viva, viva Tortuguita! All right, I know we're out here all because we are committed to seeing this struggle through to the end. And I can't help but notice that as we stand here on these grounds, the Martin Luther King Center, Andre Dickens, Raphael Warnock, John Ossoff, all of them are spitting on the grave of Martin Luther King. Every day they pretend like this is the seat of civil rights, but they are not passing forward that legacy. They are standing against the fulfillment of the civil rights revolution. That's why Martin Luther King was killed, because he was connecting the fact that racism was connected to poverty and war. A year to the day of his anti-war in Vietnam speech, he was murdered. He was on strike with the workers in Memphis, the black workers in Memphis, demanding that they got their piece of the pie. And so, this struggle here against Cop City, as people have already spoken to, is connected to every struggle that we have, every struggle all across the country. Because those coordinated forces that donate money to create this side of urban warfare are the same coordinated forces that just pushed through a law criminalizing trans health care for minors this week. Disgusting. And it's happening all over the country. There are hundreds of bills being passed right now. And that's because the Andre Dickens of the world, all of those who say that they're for us, and they take our money, and they take all the time on the airwaves telling us to vote for them, they don't do anything to stand against our murder, our genocide. That's right. And so, right now, the ruling class understands that they're losing the war. They know all of us want freedom for our people. And so they're doing these worse and worse tactics in order to repress us. They know that the dozens of our comrades arrested weren't doing any domestic terrorism. They know that. That's right. That's right. They know that Tortuguita didn't deserve to die. They know that they were wrong. That's right. But what they're doing is making sure that the masses of people are confused and scared so they don't come into the streets. Amen. Yes. They're making sure that they can call this movement a terroristic, small, weird movement. And they do the same thing all over the world. Whenever we hear that a leader in Latin America or Africa wants to nationalize their resources, wants to kick the U.S. out, all of a sudden they're a dictator. So the same process is going on of demonization so that they can continue with their profits. That's right. They want to be able to kill us here. They want to donate our money, our rental assistance back to the federal government. They want to expand NATO. They want to spend billions of our dollars all over there in Ukraine, where they hate black people, and we can't get any housing here, we can't get any health care here, we can't have education here.
That's right.
So in the city of Atlanta, they use it as a test case. They know that this, supposedly the Black Mecca, the capital of the South, is a spot where they have to sharpen their tools of confusing our people. And so this week of action was extremely necessary, and I'm so glad to see all of you here from Atlanta and from all around. We are fighting the good fight. We are doing the Lord's work. We are doing the work of all of our martyrs of Tortuguita, of MLK, of Malcolm X, of Fred Hampton. We are doing that work in building a rainbow coalition organized against capitalism. This disgusting genocidal system that makes it so that black people have to be at the bottom of the pile. It makes it so that maybe slavery is ended, but that we work in service jobs where we make no money, where migrant workers are killed and suffering all the time. This system cannot exist without the pigs. This system couldn't stand if they didn't have shock troops to destroy union organizing, housing organizing, all of our organizing.
That's right.
But beyond this week of action, we have to get into that real work of organizing. We can't just mobilize here. We have to make it so that those who saw the news this week and are a bit confused, don't know how to get into the movement, know somebody personally that they trust that they can get into struggle with. So in our workplaces, in our communities, in our housing, our apartments, we have to tell people that the same reason why you can't pay your rent is the same reason why they're creating a cop city. And so, I want everybody here, if it's a tenant organization, if it's a working organization, join an organization. Get part of something where you are engaged in struggle over time, because this is never going to stop unless we stop it. It's never going back to normal again. We're still in a pandemic. There's fascists organizing, fascist militias building up power, getting into state legislatures, passing these anti-trans, anti-gay bills. We don't have the right to abortion. This is a 5-alarm fire right now. And it's all culminating right here, and I know all of our efforts have to culminate in order for us to fight it.
That's right.
They may have the money, but we have the people power. And so, we organize, ready to overturn this system, ready to send Andre Dickens back to the dustbin of history. We will win. Thank you. Join the organization. Come speak to any of us.
The dustbin of history. We love that. All right, next up we have Cliff from BVM.
What's going on, y'all? Stop Cop City, shut it down. Stop Cop City! Stop Cop City! What's up, y'all? I'm from Black Voters Matter, and I'm gonna talk a little bit. Thank you. I'm gonna talk a little bit about voting, right? But before I do that, I just want to explain something, because sometimes people get confused, they get it twisted. They say, oh, y'all are Black Voters Matter. All y'all do is talk about voting. Be clear, we understand that the way that we get to liberation is not going to come just through a vote. That's never been how it's worked for our people in this country. Sister Harriet didn't get a chance to vote for liberation. She didn't get a chance to vote to take our people off the plantation, right? So we are very clear that what we have got to be, in fact, we just celebrated, commemorated the anniversary of Selma and the March of Montgomery, but be clear, the people of Selma didn't vote for a Voting Rights Act. They had to fight for it, they had to march for it, in some cases they bled for it, they had to resist for it, they had to take to the streets for it. It's in that tradition that we are out here today. So yes, I believe in the power of the vote, but I also believe in the power of mass action. And that's why we out here today. So I'm going to say a little word while I'm on it. I'm going to say a little word about voting, because at the end of the day, we got to send a message to Andre Dickens, right? We got to send him a message. And that message is that you can't continue to ignore the voices of the people, the voices of this city, and expect to remain in office. You can't continue to answer more to that corporate greed and those corporate interests than you answer to the people of Atlanta. And I'm going to say just a brief word about those corporate interests, because we got to be clear while we're talking about this intersection. The same corporations that are funding Cop City are the same ones that are funding the voter suppression.
That's right.
The same ones, we did a whole campaign a couple years ago when Georgia did that voter suppression bill, and we called out Home Depot and Coca-Cola and Delta and many of the other corporations that give money to the people that are taking away our rights to vote. That's corporate greed. Because what we know is that you can't have an agenda for the people if you don't have a government that reflects the people, right? That's why they try to control that electoral process, because they want to control that agenda. And then if you don't have a government that reflects the people, then what do you need? You need a police force to enforce the fact that you don't have a government that reflects the people. So there's an intersection between these issues that we are talking about in terms of voting and this police violence. So we've got to come together, because we got the answer, y'all. It ain't rocket science, because we got the power. Somebody say power. Power! And so what we have seen going back almost a decade, when we look at Ferguson, right? And people say, oh, y'all are marching in the street, y'all are burning stuff down, you don't have any agenda. But eventually, that protest and that pain was turned into power as they started to change the city of Ferguson, as they started to change St. Louis, as they put a mayor in place that understood that what our people want isn't more police, what we want is safety. And so the people came together and made that happen in St. Louis. The people in Memphis right now are coming together and turning that pain and that protest into power. Right here in this state, many of y'all know about our friends down there in Brunswick, where Ahmaud Arbery was murdered. And after that pain and after that protest, the people came together and they said, you know what, there's a DA, the first DA, some of y'all know the story, the first DA in Brunswick and Glenn County who tried to bury the murder was up for election later on that year. And the people of Brunswick and Glenn County came together and they said, you know what, DA, you about to lose your job. And so they organized themselves, and when that election came around, guess what? She lost her job, right? And so our message for Mayor Dickens, our message for the city council is that if you don't respond to the people, you about to lose your job. You about to lose your job. Because we've got that power. We've got the power to make that happen. And so the last thing I'm going to say, right, as we talk about this power, is to also talk about it. It's fitting that we're out here at the King Center, because King talked about this issue. He talked about the combination of these two things, love and power, right? And what he said is that power without love is reckless and abusive. And we know what reckless and abusive looks like, right? It's the enslavement of people, it's the theft of land from one group of people and the enslavement of another group of people. That's reckless and abusive. We know reckless and abusive, right? It's the murder of Tortuguita, right? And the murder of so many of our other brothers and sisters. We know what reckless and abusive power looks like. But what King said is this, that love without power is sentimental and anemic. We don't need a sentimental and anemic kind of love. We need the kind of love, we need that agape kind of love. We need that kind of love that Tortuguita's mother, thank you so much, sister, that she talked about. Love for each other, love for our community, love for freedom, love for health care, love for the LGBT community, love for women to control their bodies. That's the kind of love that we need. The kind of love that is merged with power. And we have that. So we can get everything we want for this city. We can stop Cop City. We got the power, but we just got to believe, y'all. We got to believe in our power. Because the last thing I'm going to say is this. There's going to be a lot of people telling us about what we can't do. About what these organizers out here can't do. They always want to tell us about what we can't do. But I'm here to tell you, all of us out here, we're organizers. And as organizers, we are in the business of taking that which other people say is impossible, and we make it possible. That's what we do. We got that power. As long as we believe. So I just need you to say real loud, say I. Say I believe. Say I believe that we will win. 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 Y'all.
Thank you. I just want to call attention to this sign that we have in front. Andre Dickens is a sellout. Yeah. Right? Trying to sell our city to the police. And I want to draw attention to this sign because some of the first people recently to make that claim, to let it be known that he's a sellout, were our AUC students.
That's right.
And from what I heard, Andre Dickens shed a tear or two over that. It showed him that the people that he thought were confused, the people he thought that were scared, weren't too scared to call him out.
That's right.
So with that, I'm excited to bring some more House students up.
I want to highlight Atlanta students because Morehouse did bring attention to the issue, but this was a culmination of Clark Atlanta University, Spelman College, and Morehouse College, who all got together and recognized that this is not something that needs to be built in our city. I don't know what I can and can't do, but no justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
Okay. I'm Daxton Pettis. I am a student at Morehouse College. I'm a resident in DeKalb County. I have family in both DeKalb and in Fulton County. And I'm a resident, but this is an issue that's bigger than just the city. It's bigger than just the state. This is an issue that spans between environmental issues and human rights. We have consistently seen and see today the blatant ignorance of our history and attempts to erase it. The history of police brutality, mass incarceration, and abuse of our people through the law in many forms. Today is no different. Black people are incarcerated at higher rates than white people, and they make up a fraction of the nation. And new laws attacking our trans community, anti-trans laws, resemble the legal rhetoric that led to the segregation and mass sanction of murder of black people in our past history. Since the day that we watched when America watched the brutalization of Rodney King on national television, nothing has changed. We have attempted to reform our police force, add de-escalation training, add civil rights history training, and give more money to our police. But we continue to see black bodies across social media platforms, television, and other media platforms being displayed, being murdered. The victims have received no justice.
Come on now.
And when we say no justice, what do we say?
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
Our people are being pushed out of their cities and murdered. We cannot allow for this cycle to continue. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Connect King.
Go to the right just a little.
To the right.
This way.
Thank you so much.
My name is Connect King. I am a graduating senior at Spelman College, and today,
Spelman! Speak directly into the mic.
Today, as we stand here on this historic land, we do not ask what we can do for our country, but what our country can do for us.
That's right.
The building of the Atlanta Public Training Center is an insult and an act of the utmost disrespect from our city leaders. It is no coincidence that they are planning to have this cop city on indigenous land that was turned into a prison farm. The institution that was created to re-enslave and criminalize black people is attempting to have the entire city built on the bones of their suffering. These are no accidents, and these are not actions that can be subdued with fragile apologies or a band-aid. As humans, we have a duty to fight for the change that we seek. As an active member of this community, I refuse to sit by and be idle and just let things happen. So, to Mayor Andre Dickens, please remember that a tree falls the way that it leans, so be careful where you lean. Mayor Dickens, please know that students across Atlanta will never forget the way that you talked to us in a condescending tone and lied to our faces on February 7th. We will continue to do everything in our power to hold you and your counterparts accountable for your aid to the continued militarization of policing, especially in one of the blackest cities of America. This is not just an Atlanta issue. This is not just a Georgia issue or a United States issue. But this is an international issue, and the world is looking to us for a response to this violation of human and environmental rights. So now I will leave you with a few words. God hears my tears because I can no longer pray. I try to get the words out, but I suffocate thinking of my pain. I began to choke. I can't breathe. The air being restricted from my lungs is like when my favorite aunt hugs me for a little too long. It's like a knee is being shoved into the back of my throat, threatening that if I keep trying to speak, it'll only make it harder for God to understand me. And that if I am not afraid of him, he will give me a reason to be. So I lay still and I watch. I watch as some play with toys, some go for a jog, some walk home, some simply exist in their own skin, ignorant to the reality that we all end up the same way, crying out to God because the blood that suffocated them was far too thick for them to explain what they were trying to say. I was asked what it feels like to be a black person in America. I said it feels like Halloween, Columbus Day, and Easter. Everyone wears our blackness as if we were costumes. Our plump lips, kinky hair, and round hips are beautiful on everyone except us. We are a strange fruit whose skin is constantly being tasted and discarded. Our insides are far too bitter for their liking, so they take what they like. We have too much pride and not enough nigger for them. They want to use our ebonics to dress like us until it's time to walk a mile in our shoes. Or until it's them whose clothes are being outlined in white chalk. I guess it's true what they say. They want our rhythm but don't want our blues, but I have to live in the skin and wear it every day, and no matter how hard I scrub, I can't seem to quite wash it away. My shadow is my twin sister who never leaves my side because we're one and the same, and we're too black to be invisible. We are constantly having our identity stripped away from us and being told that it's for our own good, that assimilation is what we need to succeed in life. Then the teacher is turned into the terrorist but wants to be called Jesus. A savior who saved us from nothing, who destroyed everything and told us to say thank you for it. Because without him, we would be free, like him, an equal, a human, made in the image of God and not a reflection of himself. God's children celebrate life and liberty found within him, but they are selfish. They want life and liberty for themselves. They have done nothing to earn it, but we must slave for over 400 years to be considered the thought. I'm tired. Dying and coming back to life is tiring. How many times must we be crucified and resurrected for you to understand that you will not win? That's right. And that we will keep working and we will keep fighting because you still don't understand that my blackness is not a feature that you can steal and worship, but it's a struggle. You have to live in it. You have to earn it. You cannot have my blackness. And as the concrete tastes my final breath, I enter an eternal family reunion. My father's name is Rodney King. My son's name is Emmett Till. My brother's name is Trayvon Martin. My uncle's name is Eric Garner. My little cousin's name is Tamir Rice. My mother's name is Sandra Bland. My sister's name is Renisha McBride. My aunt's name is Ayanna Jones. Michael Brown is my neighbor. Tyre Nichols is my homeboy. Breonna Taylor is my best friend. And I saw Ahmaud Arbery jogging down the street the other day. If God can hear my cry, why can't America? I too sing America, but you don't want to hear me.
Good evening. My name is Jordan Lohman. I'm a senior at Dayton's Morehouse College. I am here before you as a human being. A human being since 2013 have witnessed various crimes against African Americans. A human being that is constantly scared for his life because of what might happen if he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. A human being who is tired of seeing young black men and women continually being gunned down by those who are assigned to protect everyone regardless of race, ethnicity, and gender. Ever since the tragic death of Trayvon Martin, we have continued to see the police abuse their power and gun down innocent black men and women. This is despite the fact that they were in their own home, they were jogging down the street, they were taking a nap in their car, and when they were crying out for their own mother. How can we trust the police when they keep on using lethal force to quote-unquote protect society? How can we trust the police when they use military-based equipment to dish out so-called social protection? How can we trust the police when a facility made specifically for them is being built right in the heart of Atlanta? We cannot trust them when they have shown time and time that our lives, our black lives, don't matter. Mr. Mayor, we need to talk. We need to discuss the negligence and hypocrisy that you have shown us during your term. The only, and I repeat, only good thing that you have done is preventing a predominantly white community, also known as Buckhead, from splitting off from the city of Atlanta, thus costing millions of dollars from the black community. And that is your only good thing. When the Atlanta City Council agreed to build this so-called training facility, you allowed it to go forward. When you were invited to a discussion panel at my soon-to-be alma mater, you dogged us down, you ignored our complaints, you actively used us to promote the construction of this facility. Instead of helping us, you have ignored our cries for help. When it comes to the West End and Vine City, you ignored the obvious problem of gun violence, disrepair, and homelessness that has plagued those two cities for years. Instead of redistributing funds to help out the residents living in those communities, you continuously keep putting resources to Cop City. That is not what a mayor should focus on. A mayor should focus on helping the community, not endangering it. A mayor should provide the homeless with services that will help them, not increase their numbers. Finally, a mayor should protect a community of young black individuals seeking an education. Speaking of protection and education, when I'm at school, I should feel protected. I would feel protected from outside forces that would seek to do me and my fellow classmates harm. However, during my entire 4 years, I have never once felt safe. When I take the train to go home on the weekends, I'm never safe. When I use to go to the store to pick up items I need, I'm never safe. A school's primary job is to teach us and to keep us safe. Yet in all my years, there have been shootings and deaths surrounding a place that I call home. There have been instances where people freely walked into dormitories and either took valuables or, in one instance, watched someone sleep in their own rooms. That should not be in anyone's home whatsoever. And yet the leaders at these institutions are more concerned about the destruction of Cop City than their own students. They should be more concerned about their public image. They are more concerned about their public image than their own students. They are more concerned about stealing every nickel and dime away from already struggling students instead of helping them financially. Instead of focusing on that public image, maybe focus on making sure your own security is actually doing its job. Instead of focusing on that public image, maybe focus on making sure that students are able to attend classes worry-free. Instead of focusing on that public image, maybe focus on distancing yourselves from a clear environmental and social hazard. My final point will be about the city of Atlanta itself. This city has been my home ever since I was born. I have been to various events here, I have seen the sights, and I've lived through some of the most important events right here in this city. This is my home, this is your home, this is our home, this is the home of black excellence, this is the home of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., this is the home of John Lewis, this is the home of Joseph and Evelyn and Joseph E. Lowery. This is the home of civil rights. This is the home of C.T. Vivian. This is the home of great blackness itself. This is the home of every single black person here in America. This city, this house, this place of black excellence says no to Cop City.
That's right. No to Cop City.
No to Cop City. Cop City.
Stop Cop City!
Stop 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 Cop City.
All right, I hope y'all are still feeling the energy. Perfect. excited to bring up M. Shahidi from MXGM.
Free the land, family, free the land! Free the land! Free the land! By any means necessary. My name is M. Shahidi Sianda. I am a member of the Malcolm X Grassroots movement, and I came here to tell you today that we stand in solidarity with the whole of Atlanta to say, stop Cop City! Say it with me, stop Cop City! Now, a lot of what I wanted to say has already been said. Cliff, Jordan, Morehouse, Spelman. But I'm not going to repeat all of those things. What I will tell you is that I, too, am born and raised Atlanta. Grady, baby. Zone 6, Kirkwood, to be exact. Right? And so, some of you moved here. Some of you live here. Some of you were born here. I hold this close to my heart because my auntie lived in that building right there before it was gentrified. I grew up in Kirkwood before it was gentrified. I went to school in Edgewood before it was gentrified. So, what I do know is that Andre Dickens can't save you. Keisha Lance Bottoms couldn't save you. Kasim Reed couldn't save you. Mayor Jackson couldn't save you. We are here to save ourselves. We must save ourselves. Now, when I went to the website, right, of the Atlanta Police Foundation, I saw the word safety being thrown around. Safety, we're building this for safety. We're doing it for safety. Have y'all ever felt safe with more police presence? We don't feel safer with that. What we do need and how we would feel safe is if we had better education, $90 million for that. If we had better health care, $90 million can go towards that. If our children felt safe in their neighborhoods because their parents had jobs that can pay them, then we get $90 million for that. But we won't feel safe with the facility that's built by them, for them, to serve them. It is not to serve our people. We know it is a lie, and we stand here today to say we will stop Cop City by any means necessary. There is an African proverb that says if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. Are y'all going together with me? Now, we know that the police, they think they're gangster, but we gangster too, right? They think they're big and bad and organized, but we big and bad and organized too. And because we know COINTELPRO is real, look to your left, look to your right. It might be a pig amongst you. Don't get it twisted. Look, we know that people sit in their rooms claiming to be powerful. And some of us say, we use this language all the time. We always say, you know, Home Depot, Bank of America, Chick-fil-A, all of them are the powers that be. I want to challenge you to shift your language because we are the powers that be. We are the power that be. We are the power that be. The power is within the people. So we agitate, we educate, we organize, we get our shit together, we take to the street, and we will stop Cop City. Let me see you hold up a black power fist, and everybody repeat after me, say free the land! 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 By any means necessary!
Next up, we have Julian from ESA.
Hey. Thank you. Appreciate that. Look, can I rap to y'all real quick?
Yes.
First of all, it's fuck 12 all through the phone. Really feeling take a stand, we really going toe to toe. You don't let a city, motherfucker, you sell it. Streets really with us, motherfucker, you jealous. Look, normally I would freestyle, but I actually took some time to write things down today. Okay. Let me pull that up. I really appreciate the energy. Stop Cop City!
Stop Cop City!
Stop Cop City!
Stop Cop City!
Wow. Okay, here we go. It's really beautiful to see how the community has come out today at the King Center. Unfortunately, that community also includes the police, but we're working on that. We're working on that. We're gonna get them out of here real quick. My name is Julian Rose. I'm an abolitionist and a black queer feminist. We have a political tendency to put those who are most marginalized at the center of leadership, governance, and care. That's not because they're the only ones who deserve it, but because they're the least likely to get it without intentional intervention. We have many faith leaders here today, and this is one concept that actually cuts across all religions. You'd be hard-pressed to find a text that tells us to neglect those who are most neglected.
That's right.
And in this way, this organizing tradition is deeply connected to my spiritual journey, and I'm sure it's connected to yours too. That spiritual journey has also carried me into the solidarity economy movement.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah, give it up for that, okay. Y'all like, we know these words, okay. To no surprise, the solidarity economy movement emphasizes solidarity. It emphasizes pluralism, many approaches toward a goal.
That's right.
And it emphasizes participatory governance and democracy. And today I'd like to spend a little time talking about this democracy. Now, I know the feds are listening, but I think it's safe to say that I've been to many protests, marches, rallies, sit-ins, and you often hear this chant, "Show me what democracy looks like."
This is what democracy looks like.
Okay, so y'all have been too. Awesome. And I can't lie, some days I'm not convinced we're ready to chant these words. I do know protest and free speech are key facets of democracy. But to say this is what democracy looks like on these lands? I don't know. Feels like salt in the wound sometimes. This Stop Cop City struggle has been direct evidence that the government of Atlanta knows nothing of democracy.
That's right.
Andre Dickens was elected in a process that turned out just 21% of regular voters. That's not eligible voters. That's not 21% of people registered to vote. That's 21% of people who vote regularly. So just how much of Atlanta is that? 50,000 people chose Andre Dickens. Yet Mayor Dickens seems emboldened to make unilateral decisions at the instruction of the governor, private interests, to make permanent detrimental changes to Atlanta's landscape that'll ultimately affect millions of people. The audacity. The caucasity. In a state with voter suppression and people disillusioned by the electoral process, you have officials espousing the fact that they're of the people. It's a joke. And I get it, money matters to them, power matters to them, public comment does not matter to them, protest does not matter to them, justice does not matter to them, our futures do not matter to them, our history does not matter to them, democracy does not matter to them. But what's important is that these things matter to us. They matter to us. And so I have come here to ask you all just one question. What are you willing to do to experience democracy for the first time? If we know this place has never seen a democracy, then what are we willing to do to bring it about? It's something I'm grappling with myself. My Afro-pessimist friends and revolutionaries both agree we are at war. The police in the city have said as much loudly with their words and their actions. And to be clear, this is a war that white power structures waged on us long ago. It feels obvious to me that we need warriors, weapons. And I know that that fact may give some of us trepidation. But I want to assure you that we need so much more than soldiers to win this fight. Whatever it is that you do, whatever skill you bring, I just ask that you make it a weapon. Yeah, give it up for that. Give it up for that. If we are ever going to experience democracy, we need your tools to be repurposed in this fight against Cop City.
That's right.
If you're a writer like me, child, that pen better look like a threat to Cop City.
That's right.
If you do mutual aid, caring for community ain't gonna get any easier. Please show us the way.
Right. That's right.
If you're an artist, where my artists at? We got a lot of them out here.
Yes.
Let every painting reveal the truth,
That's right.
including the joy and freedom that abolition calls us to. Let us make songs that inspire revolution. If you're a healer, get ready.
Yes.
We need you. Much will be lost in this struggle. Let us not forget. If you're a teacher, well, we got a lot to learn about this war we're fighting and how police practice urban warfare.
Right.
If you're a lawyer, guide us when they say that any fighter is a criminal.
Yes. Yes.
If you're a digital organizer, keep your finger on the pulse and tell our stories far and wide.
Yeah.
And if you're a community organizer, we need to tend to our relationships, not just use them. We need real solidarity, which goes beyond unity.
That's right.
We need pluralism, making space for many strategies to coexist, and ultimately, we need to practice democracy if we plan to build one.
That's right. That's right.
And yes, that includes practicing consent and accountability in both our organizations and our personal lives. See, look, that's something that Andre Dickens knows nothing about. These cops know nothing about it.
Nothing.
Consent and consensus come from the same word, and clearly we are not in agreement about the future of black people or Atlanta.
That's right.
Look, I don't need much more time. I see y'all creeping up. But I need to ask again, what are you willing to do to experience democracy for the first time? To taste its peace, to feel its calm winds? We are going to have to build that shit together. And our warriors will only get us there if we too are in this fight. If we too aim our weapons at the powers that seek to destroy the earth and us in the process. Cop City is the police and the establishment preparing for domestic war right here in the city of Atlanta.
That's right.
Any further training of the police is training against our existence. That shit cannot be built.
All right. Our city will never be built.
It will never be built. We all must fight for the democracy we've never seen before. What are you willing to do?
Yeah.
Thank you, y'all.
Now, Julian said we had to build this together, right?
That's right.
Now, this is what togetherness looks like.
Yeah.
And I want to bring up Meko Shaban, who's been with us together in this fight. You know, the Indigenous folks were here before chattel slavery, right? Before white settlers. And so when we talk about togetherness, it is that alliance between the black struggle, Indigenous struggle of all oppressed people that will get us free.
I come here standing before you just joining the choruses of voices that has already spoken the truth. I'm not even so sure I can add to it effectively, but there are some things that I want to say, and it started out in my language right there, because there's a phrase that we have that I want to make known to everybody who can hear our voices right here. And in our language we say, Estoves, Muskogee Edolwa, Legastatis, is that this is always going to be indigenous land no matter what. Ancestors, my very ancestors for thousands upon thousands of years are growing in the trees and are in the ground around us. And we have a right to say how society should exist in those homelands. And when we see something, And when we see something like a cop city attempting to be built, no way is that congruent with the energies of life that brings us all together, whether it's the human species or the animal species or this earth mother that has given us everything that we need, including this beautiful rain that has blessed us tonight. There are places in our world that do not even have that luxury. Today, I come here because for many reasons. I am coming for this right here, don't get me wrong. We're coming back for all that was taken from our ancestors. We're coming back for those things because it's not about personal property ownership. It's about being together in community, making sure, just like Tortuguita's Blessed Mother Belki said, so that we can love each other and look out for one another. And just maybe, you have to come to my home, whether you're carrying these automatic weapons over here. Maybe you have to come to my home so I can teach you how. Because when you walk through my door, my grandma said, give them the best that you have. Give them some water to drink. Give them some food to eat. That's a way of life that is founded in love, not raising weapons against those whose only weapons is prayer and spirituality, a way of humbleness and taking care of one another. Those were the values that existed here for over 13,000 years. And so today, I want to say those things, but also, I don't want to take away from all the voices that you've heard tonight. In fact, I want to stand in solidarity between all of our people of color. So let there be no mistake that black folks, indigenous folks are all right here saying we do not want this to happen in our world. We do not want this to take place. Because when we look all throughout this so-called history, there's a reason why they segregated us from each other. There's a reason why they put black folks over here. They put our people on reservations. There's a reason why. Because when we cried for food, they said, quit complaining, it's just you that has a problem. When we cried for decent health care, they said, quit complaining, it's just you who wants something. Now today, when we cry for a good education system, they said, quit complaining, it's just you. No, only to find out when our voices come together, they're treating all of us like that. We have a right to exist here. And today, I want that message to be known. I have good, kind relatives from all over Indigenous. We call this Turtle Island. Other places who have left their home. Even I have my own babies back home that are wondering, what are you doing, Daddy, in our homelands? I'm sad with what's going on. My baby boy told me that before I came out here. And I said, son, I'm going to try to make sure when we come back, we're going to come back and we're going to dance and sing like our ancestors did again. And my hope and my prayer is that we can do that together. Yes. And so today as I come here, all I can say is just that little bit, because I stand here in solidarity with my relatives. I stand here declaring to whoever may listen, even those persons that you may see, but the way that our ancestors taught us is that the difference between us and the spirit world is as thick as a leaf on a tree. That even all of our ancestors are here bearing witness to what we're living and what we're doing today. And even for those who hear the sound of my voice across the street, whoever you may be employed by or working overtime and wasting money right now, your ancestors are watching you too. In fact, I'm going to get a little preachy right now. I am a preacher, but I'm trying to hold that back. In fact, my elders said that everything that we do now are for those yet to come. That's right. Even some of my relatives from across Turtle Island say 7 generations down we think about the consequences that our actions are taking right at this moment. That's right. Your actions are just right here. Your actions are right here. That's right. I'm talking to those people across the street over there. I'm talking to that person who was flying this helicopter up here. Your children that have yet to come on this earth are going to come to you and ask you a question and say, why? Why did you allow that to happen? Why weren't you over here picking up a sign? Why weren't you over here taking and enjoying the company of all that's around us, and even remembering our blessed relative Tortuguita? And in fact, their blessed lives should still be here now. And I'm thankful for his mama because she's still here. And so today, I don't want to say any more, but I want to just say I thank you, because my only hope is that we're not in the business of, even though we come here saying land back, we're not in the business of kicking people off things. We're in the business of creating a world where we all have the right to exist. Where we all have a right to self-determination. And even I heard the words from my relatives, from the schools, from everywhere saying we have a same chorus that we cry in our speeches and our language. We all cry to be free. If I want to go to the forest, that's all right. She knows us. If I don't want to be shot while I'm jogging in my own neighborhood, heaven forbid do I have to tell you why. We have a right to exist. And our desire is to be free.
Yes. Tortuguita, viva, viva, Tortuguita, viva, viva, Tortuguita. Andre Dickens said the people from here want Cop City. Those are the people whose people are from here.
That's right. That's right.
We are the people who are from here.
That's right.
And Kiana, she really from here. Hey.
Yo, my name is Reverend Kiana Jones. I'm a member of the Faith Coalition to Stop Cop City. And I am a daughter of East Atlanta. I am from East Atlanta Village. I currently live in East Atlanta. And when I say that I'm ATL till I die, I am ATL till I die. And Nico didn't want to get too preachy on you, but I'm going to get preachy for a second. Everybody look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, you a bad mama jammer. Let me tell you why you a bad mama jammer. Y'all all bad mama jammers because y'all got 12 on these corners shook like a mug. Y'all bad mama jammers because it was only what, 75 of us jazz on Tuesday? About 75 of us, we had over 200 cops kettling us while we marched and chanted. When you think about the power that people want to exert, I want you to look within yourself because the power is in you. You are the reason that the cops are out here thick as hell. You are the reason that Andre Dickens is running around trying to get support for this bullshit he's trying to do. You are the reason that Cop City is not going to happen. Because we have the power. We have the power of the people. And what I want to say right now is that I don't want you to get tired. I can't say don't get tired because I know that sometimes we do, but don't grow weary in your well-doing. The Bible says don't grow weary in well-doing, for if you faint not in due season, you will reap your just reward. Y'all, we can't faint. When we get tired, we got to hold each other up. We got to make sure that we stand together, that we fight together, that we hold each other up, because if we do, I'm telling you, we will win. These suckers are out here because they are shook. These council members don't know what to do because they are shook when they look at what we can do with just the power of us. It's powerful, the power in you, because the very thing that they wanted to do, which was separate us, is the thing that they will never accomplish. Because the more they try, the more we stick together. When we hold up our fists like this is a representation of us. Because if we stick together just like this, they will never defeat us. They will never build Cop City. They will never take East Atlanta and do what they want to do with it. They will never, ever win. Y'all ready to march? Are y'all ready to see. Hold up. No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
Fuck these racist ass police. No justice. No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
Hey, I think y'all might be ready. So y'all, we are going to get ready to get our march on, because everything that needed to be said tonight has been said. All I want to say is that when I told my granny that everybody wanted to know, who is your granny? She must be powerful. And I said, Granny, all of my people want to know you. And she said, baby, if they your people, they my people too. So I want you to know that y'all got a granny who is rooting for you, who is praying for you, that's holding you up even when you feel like you can't take another step. Me, Granny, and you together, we are going to stop Cop City.
I told y'all Kiana was really from here. All right. So we are going to get started with a march. We just want to make some announcements because the pigs are really out here, y'all. We just want to keep everybody safe. So first I want to say that we have some safety folks out here who are wearing the orange on them, right? So if you need anything, water, etc., just tap in with them. We're trying to keep ourselves visible so we know who's on our side and who is not. So we're gonna ask first that everyone kind of wrap around to the left, so my left, where my arm is going, so that we can proceed in an orderly fashion. I also want to let people know that we are marching to APF, the Atlanta Police Foundation. It's about a mile away, so just keep that in mind. It is right off the Petrie Center MARTYR station, so if you want to hop on MARTYR around the corner and meet us there, that's all good. But just want to be transparent with people too. And like I said, the pigs are out here, so for whatever reason you don't feel comfortable joining us in the march, that's all good. We'd love to have as many folks as possible though. And we'll let y'all know when the march gets started, but we really do need everyone who's in this area to wrap around. There's a banner over there that you can just stand behind, and that'll just be an easy marker. All right, y'all. We'll get started soon.
Should we go with the banner or?
Yeah, y'all down.
Grab a banner, somebody.
I'm gonna need some help in a second just to readjust myself. Let's get over there and adjust. Can you just hold this for a second?
Stop Cop City! Stop Cop City! Stop Cop City! Viva, viva Tortuguita! Money for black babies! Not police! Money for community! Not police! Schools! Not police! Not police! Money for housing! Not police! Money for housing! Not police! Money for schools! Not police! Stop Cop City! Stop Cop City!
So for anyone that's just joining us, we're live. This is Unicorn Riot in Atlanta, a march against the Cop City Urban Warfare Training Center that would demolish part of the largest urban forest in the United States is about to depart from the Martin Luther King Jr. Center.
City will never be built. Cop City will never be built. 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 City will never be built.
So we're gonna pause on the chance real quick. We'll get right back into it.
Mic check! Mic check! Mic check! Mic check! Mic check! Mic check!
So we're gonna do this in a bit of an orderly way. We're not trying to give the pigs any more reason than they need, right? So what the plan is, if we can get folks to line up in a row of 5. So 5 people, 5 on 5. As best as you can, right? As best as you can.
Oh no, what's this? Can it be a roll of 15?
Alright, the 5 are going to start here. 1, 2, can I get a 3, 4, 5? 3, 4. We need one more. We need one more. Anyone? Okay. Camille, you got it? Alright, we are a row of 5, so now we just gonna do 5. Keep going. We'll wait.
So rows of 5.
Rows of 5. As best as we can. As best as we can.
Stay tight. Stay together. Stay tight. Rows of 5. Come on.
Rows of 5. Rows of 5.
Stay 20-20. Stay 20-20. Move together. Stay together. Stay tight. Avanza, avanza, avanza. Porque avanza. Let's go. Let's go. Sorry, man.
Yeah, it'll be, yeah. So to help y'all out, we're going to have the big banner kind of carry y'all in on the side, so you don't want to be outside of the banner, okay?
Make the 5 go in one direction. Make the 5 go in one direction. Stay together. Stay tight. Go to the right.
To the right. To the right. Stay on the sidewalk for now. Stay on the sidewalk.
You okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're really good back there.
And a banner. We could go now.
I'm going to go get one, yeah.
Go get one.
No,
Not.
it's okay. That's how much.
Alright, we're gonna stop here. Make sure folks can catch up. Stop here.
Osiris Bennett! What happened? Police are fighting their footage for Osiris Bennett!
They will restart one, two,
Yeah, I'll make it now.
So we're here at the Martin Luther King Jr. Center in Atlanta. There's just a rally of different Black and Indigenous leaders and organizers from Atlanta and around the country. We also heard from students from Spelman and Morehouse colleges rejecting the Urban Warfare Training Center known as Cop City. And so people are about to march to the headquarters of the Atlanta Police Foundation downtown.
We're moving.
The Atlanta Police Foundation is essentially trying to force through this unpopular police training center. They're funded by mega corporations like Home Depot, AT&T, Cox, Chick-fil-A.
No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No racist! Police! No justice!
The police have been very aggressive against protests against this project, presumably out of a conflict of interest, as the police all want this training center, despite most of the public comment being against it.
Cop City will never be built! 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 The people united will never be defeated! 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 The people united! Stop Cop City! Shut it! Stop Cop City! Shut it down! 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 I'm gonna say a couple things. You say shut it down. APF? Shut it down! APD? Shut it down! Cop City? Shut it down! The whole damn system? Shut it down! APD? Shut it down! APF? Shut it down! Cop City? Shut it down! The whole damn system? Shut it down! What do we want? No Cop City? When do we want it? Now! What do we want? No Cop City! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? No Cop City! When do we want it? Now! If we don't get it? Shut it down! 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 I said if we don't get it? Shut it down! What do we want? No Cop City? When do we want it? Now! What do we want? No Cop City! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? No Cop City! When do we want it? Now! If we don't get it? Shut it down! 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 I said if we don't get it? Shut it down! Stop Cop City! 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 Shut it down! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! Fuck these racist ass police! I said no justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! Fuck these racist ass police! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! Fuck these racist ass police! I said no justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! Fuck these racist ass police! If we don't get no justice, then we don't get no peace! We don't get no justice, they don't get no peace! We don't get no justice, they don't get no peace! We don't get no justice, and we don't get no peace! We don't get no justice, they don't get no peace! We don't get no justice, they don't get no peace! Viva, viva, Tortuguita! Viva, viva! 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 Viva, viva! Viva, viva! Viva, viva! Viva, viva!
Viva, viva! Viva, viva! Viva, viva! Viva, viva! Viva, viva! What do we want? 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 When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? If we don't get it, 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 then if we don't get it, hey, hey, ho, ho, killer cops have got to go, hey, hey, ho, ho. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Killer cops have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Killer cops have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Killer cops have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Killer cops have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Killer cops have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Andre Dickens got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Andre Dickens got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Andre Dickens got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Andre Dickens got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Andre Dickens got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Andre Dickens got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho.
So this march against the Cop City Urban Warfare Training Center left just in the last few minutes from the Martin Luther King Center in Atlanta. They're marching to the headquarters of the Atlanta Police Foundation, which is the private nonprofit funded by different mega corporations that has essentially been buying influence with the Atlanta Police Department, buying their tasers, body cameras, things like that. The Atlanta Police Foundation has been giving gifts to people that are supposed to be involved in oversight of the Cop City project. So I would guess, I don't know if there's 1,000 people or more like 500 in this march, but it's fairly large. My understanding is the police have already threatened to arrest everyone present, which is why they're on the sidewalk, not in the street. And so there's a real unaddressed conflict of interest for the Atlanta police because their influence is being bought with, you know, through the Atlanta Police Foundation, funneling corporate money directly to the department to then, you know, then they're then very aggressive against protests against the Atlanta Police Foundation's training center project that would demolish 80-some acres of the largest urban forest in the United States.
Hey, hey, ho, ho. Andre Dickens got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho.
Sorry.
Hey, hey, ho, ho. 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 If we don't get it, shut it down. I said if we don't get it, shut it down. I said if we don't get it, shut it down.
Maybe it's more ideal to do it on that side.
Shut it down. If we don't get it, shut it down. Make some noise.
Hey everyone, this is Alex with Unicorn Riot. We're here in downtown Atlanta live. There's a Black and Indigenous led march right now. First spread outside the King Center, there were a bunch of speakers and folks denouncing the Cop City project. And now folks are starting marching, I think waiting for the mass amount of people to catch up on the sidewalk here because the march is trying to stay on the sidewalk because there's a lot of police presence, and so trying to keep people as safe as possible. There's a lot of police. I haven't seen visible rifles, but a lot of zip tie, handcuffs, and cops with their helmets that have the like clear shield on it. But yeah, I haven't noticed rifles. There's dozens of cops around, probably a lot more in the vicinity. The Atlanta police helicopter has also been flying overhead the entire time. So this march is Black and Indigenous led, started at the King Center. The King Center was started by Coretta Scott King, who is the late Martin Luther King Jr.'s wife. And so all of the people who spoke, including students in Atlanta, were denouncing the building of the Cop City proposed project.
Stop Cop City! 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 Stop Cop Full street! Our street! 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 The people united will never be defeated. 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 I said the people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. I said the people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. Stop Cop City, shut it down. 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 The whole damn system, 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 shut it down. APD, shut it down. APF, shut it down. APD, shut it down. APF, shut it down. Cop City, shut it down. The whole damn system, shut it down. APD, shut it down. APF, shut it down. Cop City, shut it down. The whole damn system, shut it down. Stop Cop City, shut it down. Stop Cop City, stop Cop City, shut it down. 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 Full street, our street. 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 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to 11. Stop Cop City, shut it down. 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 Stop Cop City, shut it down.
Stop Cop City.
Shut it down.
Stop Cop City.
Shut
Stop Cop City. Stop Cop City.
Shut it down.
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 Stop Cop City. Go their sister. Go their sister. Go their sister. Go their sister. When black lives are under attack, what do we do? When black lives are under attack, what do we do? When black lives are under attack, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? When black lives are under attack, what do we do? When black lives are under attack, what do we do? When black lives are under attack, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Viva, viva, Tortuguita!
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 When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
No Cop City!
When do we want it?
Now!
If we don't get it?
Shut it down!
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 Full streets?
Our streets!
Full streets?
Our streets!
Full streets?
Our streets!
Full streets?
Our streets!
Full city?
Our city!
Full city?
Our city!
Full city?
Our city!
Full city?
Our city!
Stop Cop City!
Shut it down!
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 I said stop Cop City!
Shut it down!
Stop Cop City!
Shut Cop City!
Stop Cop City!
Shut Cop City!
Stop Cop City!
Shut Cop City!
The people united will never be defeated. The people united
Will never be defeated!
the people united.
Will never be defeated!
The people united.
Will never be defeated!
I said the people united.
Will never be defeated!
The people united. The people united. The people united.
Will never be defeated!
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Full streets.
Our streets! Streets!
Full streets.
Our 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 streets!
Full city.
Our city!
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 No Cop City.
No Cop City!
No Cop City.
No Cop City!
No Cop City.
No Cop City!
No Cop City.
So folks decided to take to the street intentionally, and now one side of the street has been taken by the massive people here right now. Again, it's a black led march that started at the King Center and is marching.
Our streets!
I don't know what street this is, but we're marching up a
Andre Dickens got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Andre Dickens got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Andre Dickens got to go! He's got to go!
Andre Dickens got to go. Hey, hey.
Our city!
Full city. Full city. Full city. Cop City will never be built. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. What do we want? No Cop City? When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
No Cop City!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
No Cop City!
When do we want it?
Now!
If we don't get it,
Shut it down!
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 if we don't get it.
Shut it down!
All right, you know, these kids, they leave the street belong to them. So we gotta get on the sidewalk. But right now, the whole street, 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 whole street,
Our streets!
whole street,
Our streets!
whole street,
Our streets!
whole street,
Our streets!
whole street.
Our streets!
No Cop City,
No Cop City!
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 no Cop City.
No Cop City!
When Black lives are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When Black lives are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When Black lives are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When the poor race is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When the poor race is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When the poor race is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When the poor race is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When the poor race is under attack, what do we do? Yes, stand the sidewalk.
No Cop City! Now! No Cop City! Now! Shut it down! 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 Shut it down!
The cops are using bus max, bus rental, white vans to transport themselves. So it's very discreet. You can't tell they're cop cars at all because they're a rental company van.
We'll never be defeated! We'll never be defeated!
Yeah, if the police suddenly decide to make arrests, it seems like teams of them will be jumping out of those white vans to grab people. And again, this march hasn't really done anything except march, but the police are really massing against it. Basically, all these officers are likely in favor of the unpopular police urban warfare training compound that this event and most of the city of Atlanta opposes.
Stop Cop City. Stop Cop City. If you got some change, give us some money. Stop Cop City. Stop Cop City.
I just want to see if I can see in the vans. I'll come right back. So the march is paused for a second. We're going to see if we can get a better look at the police presence that's kind of staging itself. Just the crowd. They came out and started to confront the crowd, but went back in when people went on the sidewalk. Looks like those white vans are on the move again. Those white vans are full of cops. We misjudged the direction of the march, sorry. Oops. So it looks like the march has retaken the street, at least on one side. So far the police response is just these two motorcycles up here, but I imagine more are en route as we speak.
Move up to the head sign.
We're going to move at a slow pace.
Yeah, move up to the head sign.
What do we want? No Cop City. When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
No Cop City!
When do we want it?
Now!
If we don't get it,
Shut it down!
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 I said if we don't
don't get it,
Shut it down.
if we don't get it,
Shut it down.
Cop City will never be built.
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 Cop City will never be built. Cop City will never be built. Full street.
Our streets.
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 Full city.
Our city.
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 Stop Cop 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 City. Stop Cop City.
Right
Viva,
now.
viva, Tortuguita.
Viva, viva, Tortuguita.
Viva, viva.
Viva, viva, Tortuguita.
Viva, viva.
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 Tortuguita.
Viva, viva. Viva, viva. Viva, viva. Viva, viva. Viva, viva. Viva, viva. What do we want, justice? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? If we don't get it, 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 we don't get it.
Shut it down.
And if we don't get it,
Shut it down.
if we don't get it,
Shut it down.
if we don't get it,
Shut it down. Shut it down.
if we don't get it,
Shut it down.
if we don't get it,
Shut it down.
we shut shit down, we shut shit down, who shut shit down? Shut shit down.
We shut it down.
Who shut shit down?
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 We shut it down.
Free them all.
Free them all. Free them all. Free them all. Free them all. Free them all. Free them all. Free them all. Free them all. Free them all. Free them all. Free them all. Free them all. Free them all. Free them all. Free them all. Free them all. Free them all. Free them all. Free them all. Free them all. Free them all.
Drop the charges.
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 Yeah, so if you want to say, and just try to yell since it's
Drop the
Osiris Bennett was murdered at the molestation on February 28th. They shot him because he lit up a joint. They tried to tase him, and I guess he tried to fight back. And then all of a sudden they shot him. And so now, and nobody's fucking talking about this. Nobody's fucking talking about this at all.
No justice! And did that happen in Atlanta?
Yes, at the MARTA station.
Where?
North Avenue MARTA station.
North Avenue MARTA station in Atlanta.
Osiris Bennett.
Osiris Bennett was shot and killed by Atlanta. Was it Atlanta police?
It was MARTA police, but still MARTA Atlanta police. Yeah. And they were plain clothes. So, well, how the fuck do you expect somebody to act if 3 plainclothes people walk up to you and they fucking yeah. Sorry, I'm really bad about it. I'm really bad about it.
No, it's okay. You're
The people!
How you doing? You never know. I can't put it on. It's just gonna happen. This is, I believe, the tower where the Atlanta Police Foundation is located. The Atlanta Police Foundation has boarded up their headquarters in anticipation of this march here. You can see this officer has one zip tie ready to make arrests. It's not just on his belt. These officers have automatic rifles. These officers standing behind are likely commanding the officers with guns. If either of these officers fire shots, it was probably at Mercado's order. The usual press interference tactics. Sir, can I ask you why you're shining your light? Can I ask you guys why you're shining that? For any other reason than to interfere with the public's ability to observe you? They turned their lights off as soon as I went away. That's the kind of treatment we expect as press out here.
Just keep them off you while we take them.
We see that these kids have been prepared to protect the property of the Atlanta Police Foundation. We see that our taxpayer dollars are wasted for them to work overtime to protect the rich Atlanta Police Foundation.
Whose life are you gonna have, huh? You happy? You proud? Fucking proud, boy? Fuck yourself.
The Atlanta Police Foundation, right? They're waiting for a reason. Because we know they don't need one. So what I will say is, as you see our safety ambassadors here in orange and yellow vests, please do not stand between them and the police. Okay, they are here to keep us safe as we can be from these militarized bombs. Okay? But we are glad to be gathering back up again. We will be hearing from a few. Stop Cop City! Stop Cop City! Stop Cop City! Stop Cop City!
So we're at the 191 Peachtree Tower, which is where this building hosts the office of the Atlanta Police Foundation, who's taking money from different mega corporations to push through the Cop City project against local opposition. So again, the Atlanta police, at a taxpayer cost, are protecting the private, corporate-funded Atlanta Police Foundation. And the Atlanta Police Foundation has been giving gifts to people associated with city committees that are supposed to oversee the Cop City project that they're building.
No justice! No justice! No justice! Alright, when I say no justice, no peace, I want y'all to say abolish the police, okay? No justice! Abolish the police! No justice, no peace! 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 Abolish the police! Alright, y'all. I know it might be hard to hear because we got a lot going on, but I do want to invite up Amber, our next speaker, all the way from Memphis.
Repeat after me. Wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up. We want freedom, freedom. We want freedom, freedom. A cop city in the forest. A cop city in the forest. We don't need it, need it. We don't need it, need it. Wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up. We want freedom, freedom. We want freedom, freedom. A cop city in the forest. We don't need it, need it. A cop city in the forest. We don't need it, need it. My name is Amber Sherman. I'm an organizer with the official BLM Memphis chapter. And I'm here to say that we stand in solidarity with the Stop Cop City movement because we know what happens here in Atlanta affects all of us. Building a mock city for police officers to practice defense tactics, use militarized equipment, and destroy forest land that's crucial to combat the effects of climate change is not only harmful, it's anti-black, it's reinforcing white supremacy tactics, and it's tone deaf to this community's outcry here in Atlanta, in Memphis, and all throughout the U.S. when we say demilitarize and defund the police and invest in our communities. Memphis and Atlanta are very similar cities in the makeup and the high percentage of and they're also very similar in the levels of police violence. But more importantly, we're very similar in the wins that we're seeing from our consistent organizing. When we continue to organize around these important issues, as stakeholders here in Atlanta have begun to waver and remove their support for Cop City, and a court order has been granted to stop work, we passed ordinances in Memphis to remove unmarked police cars from doing traffic enforcement and establish a public database for traffic stops, complaints, and uses of force in real time, providing levels of transparency we've never seen before. Mayor Dickens is a trifling sellout, playing the good old boy character to appease the black elite and white corporate tactics, any tactics they can find. The longer he continues to ignore the will of the people, the more he solidifies his allegiance to upholding white supremacy, upholding police terrorism, and upholding his allegiance to the wealthy class. He is just as complicit as the Atlanta Police Department and the Georgia Bureau of Investigation and other police forces in the murder of Tortuguita and the violent mass arrest of folks attending the music festival this past weekend. But if there's one thing I know about, that's people power. If there's one thing I know about, that's people power. And this is what a movement looks like. The people are rising up and saying, we ain't gonna take it no more. You won't just place us with ease. You won't harass and murder
headquarters here in downtown Atlanta.
All power to the people! Peace, everyone. My name is Tunde. I'm with the Black Alliance for Peace, and we're here, to show the solidarity with this movement to stop Cop City. Say, stop Cop City. Stop Cop City. In the Black Alliance for Peace, we say Cop City is an instrument of war against poor people, against colonized people, against black people all over the city, all over this country, all across this world. Okay? And so we're here today through our presence, collectively, to demonstrate that the people in this city are against Cop City. We're not prepared to give a blank check to the police foundation to build this massive urban warfare facility. We're here today to put our voices and our bodies on the line. We're not going to allow them to wage war on us, on our communities, on our people. We're here today because we understand that the only way to stop Cop City is through people power. It's through all of us coming together and becoming an organized force against the war that's being waged against us, right? And so we understand that we need people power because we understand what we're up against, right? We know that there are like over 40 political prisoners that have, been targeted because of just their willingness to stand up against the system, their willingness to really just put their bodies and their voices on the line. And we know that there's a long history of that, right? Like this war on us is long-standing. There are countless political prisoners in our mass incarceration system today, right? Like the 43 are part of a long legacy of repression, of state violence, of this war, right? And so we know that, for example, there's a political prisoner in Augusta named Kamal Siddiqui. I don't know if y'all have heard of Kamal Siddiqui.
Free Kamal Siddiqui!
Absolutely. Kamal Siddiqui was a target of COINTELPRO. He was captured in 2003 for a crime that was committed in 1971, right? A cold case. And in this vein, we understand that we need to say free them all. Say free them all. Our freedom fighters, those connected to the Stop Cop City movement and beyond, deserve our support. They deserve support for their commitment and resilience in the struggle for liberation that we're all in, right? Every one of us here. Yes. They deserve to live healthy and meaningful lives upon their release from prison, right, or jail. And so we need to support the 40 plus folks associated with the Stop Cop City movement. We need to support Kamal Siddiqui. We need to support Imam Jamil Al-Amin. We need to support Mumia Abu Jamal, right? So those are all folks connected to this struggle that we're all in, okay? So I think that's important to raise up. And so, we understand that it's important for us to defeat this war, and that's why we're out here today. All power to the people. All power to the people. Our roots are continua. The struggle continues, and if we keep struggling, victory is certain. Victoria Certa. Let's organize, let's struggle, let's win. Thank you.
Free them all! 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 Okay, now we're going to hear from Talia.
Hi everyone, my name is Talia. I'm a senior at Georgia State University. I came to speak today because Georgia State is not only one of the main donors of Cop City, not directly but indirectly. They fund the Atlanta Police Foundation that we're at today. They also have one of the professors sitting on the board of the foundation. Me and many of my fellow college students came to protest today because we are against Cop City. We are against having our tuition dollars, fund police brutality. We are against having our police dollars help militarize the police. We are against having our tuition dollars go to poisoning a river, go to destroying a forest, go to brutalizing black and brown communities in this area. We are against that. We never agreed to it, and we don't agree to it now. Secondly, I would like to address the mayor and the Atlanta City Council and the DeKalb County CEO. Know this, the way in which you all went about approving this facility, it was abysmal. It was unconstitutional, and it was downright disrespectful to the communities which you claim to represent. And then to claim that you haven't heard any of us saying that we are against this is bullshit. You're either not listening or you're plain out ignoring us. Everyone since the moment this facility was approved has been protesting, has been at city council meetings saying that we don't want it in every which way, form, and fashion. So you can't say that you haven't heard the cries against it. You have heard them, you chose to ignore them. But listen to this and remember this well. The same way in which you got into office is the same way in which you will be removed. The citizens that voted for you this time will be the same ones to vote against you next time. We did not approve this, and you cannot sit here and claim to represent people when you vote and you approve things that go against every detrimental fact that helps us live, that helps us succeed in society. You cannot sit here and say that you represent us when you vote against our interests time and time again. You cannot sit and say you represent us when you approve. And now I want to speak to the people who are watching from the outside. You might want to ask yourself, why should I care about Cop City? But know this, if it happens here, it'll happen where you live. What's to say they don't build in Oakland, Miami, Houston, Memphis, New York? They're already planning on building 5 facilities like this in the city of New York throughout the bureaus. So what's to say if it happens here, it doesn't happen to you? And know this, the same things that are happening here will continue, because the Tyre Nichols situation, we had a part in. Those people that killed Tyre Nichols were trained by some of the sergeants that were on the Atlanta Red Dogs team. Then they went to Memphis, built a Scorpion unit, another killed that man in the streets brutally and unjustly. So don't sit here and pretend like it's not already happening. It will happen again. It's not an if, it's And lastly, I would like to say this. Atlanta residents do not approve this. We will not approve this. We don't approve it here in our city. We don't approve it in Buckhead. We don't approve it anywhere. We don't compromise. We will be in the until you listen to us, until you hear that we are not stopping. We will harass you until kingdom come if we have to. I don't care. I have time. I have all the time. Matter, and we will continue to fight for them. We will continue. Also, justice for Tortuguita. Viva, viva. Tortuguita. Viva, viva. Tortuguita. Thank you. As Talia said, no Cop City anywhere. So when I say no Cop City, I want y'all to say anywhere. No Cop City! Anywhere! No Cop City! Anywhere! No Cop City! Anywhere! No Cop City! No Cop City! Anywhere! No Cop City! Anywhere! No Cop City! Anywhere! No Cop City! Anywhere! Alright, thanks y'all, thanks y'all. Next up, we're gonna have some more speakers from the AUC.
First things first, I am a revolutionary. I am a revolutionary. I am a revolutionary. Let the record state we can hear your police chatter, and we know you have police with riot shields behind those wooden planks. It appears as though in addition to frivolous and dangerous applications of terms like domestic terrorist, like domestic terrorist, this city is also potentially interested in labeling the people's various organizations as, quote, criminal organizations, which is very interesting because at no point tonight did I see these hundreds of people around me and think that they were engaged in any form of criminal activity. In fact, I only see a critically thinking population that is engaged in First Amendment protected activity. Let the record show that whenever protest and critical thinking becomes a crime, it is not the people who are criminals, it is the system. And when we look back through history, whether we're looking at Japan in the 60s, the Black South in the 50s, or Tiananmen Square in China in the 80s, we know that criminal systems always fear when their students join with their communities in recognizing the criminality of the system. That's why they're so scared. That's right. But of course, we must be fair, so before we rush to conclusions, I want to conduct a little poll. So please,
When I ask yes or no, I would like you guys to reply yes or no. On the question of terrorism, the Oxford definition is someone who commits or... This is too broad and it is an utterly useless definition. It includes Nelson Mandela, Malcolm X, the Panthers, even MLK and J. Question number one, do we consider Nelson, Martin, Malcolm, Jack, and to be terrorists? No! Do people occupying a previously unoccupied corner of a forest sound like terrorists to you? A more useful and modern definition would be an individual or group that engages in the purposeful and knowing murder of civilians and non-combatants to sow terror and seek control. Do concerned citizens looking to secure peace and freedom in their communities sound like terrorists to you? Okay. But does an individual, cloaked in power, privileged by legal protection, who unjustly and violently executes civilians without a trial, who runs around in your community spreading death and fear, does this person sound like a terrorist to you? Fascinating. Does a grassroots network of various factions of concerned citizens fighting bravely in the war on injustice sound like a criminal organization to you? Does it sound like a terrorist organization to you? Well, how about an organization of heavily armed street soldiers, only for internal gang activity, but for organization that derives its power from physical, violent force, an organization that thinks itself above the law, an organization with a strict no snitching policy. Does this sound like a criminal organization to you? Fascinating. But of course, an organization that is perceived to be a criminal organization is not always known to contain entirely criminals. We don't believe in guilt by association. Unlike some parts of this government, we know that gang membership or affiliation, let alone affiliation with a record label, does not automatically make one a criminal. So I want to address something to the supposedly good cops, but specifically to roughly 58% of the APD. To the brother officers, do you, black brother officer, really think that training will be enough? Deep down in your heart of hearts, do you really think that more money, more guns, and more officers will solve community issues? You are aware that they mean to teach you how to suppress free protests and demonstrations. That they seek to employ through you, brother officer, urban warfare tactics, urban warfare tactical training. Like the tactics used in Iraq, like the tactics that were used in Afghanistan, like the tactics currently used in Palestine. War on terror tactics used in all these places. And urban warfare tactics like those, and I hate to say this, brother officer, or should I say blood, or should I say black GI, but the tactics that were used and developed in Vietnam. Brother officer, black GI, can't you see that police militarization is a threat to your own people? Did you see what they do to activists like Fred Hampton, or to civilians like Breonna Taylor? Did you forget about the Red Dogs? Did you forget about the Scorpions? The Scorpions from Memphis, the same Memphis PD that had a hand in killing Dr. King, I might add. Brother officer, black GI, you think yourself the sole deterrent of chaos, the so-called last line of defense. Brother officer, you think yourself the thin blue line. Do you remember what that even means? There was a time, black men, where the thin blue line considered itself the last line of defense against you. And much of that thin blue line still does to this very day. They protected some citizens against the jungle. That's what they called it, the jungle. Holding back the so-called monkeys, just like you and me. They feed you their propaganda and turned you not only against your own people, against Africans, but against the entire multiracial working class. Black GI, black street soldier. Do you really want to know where the term thin blue line comes from? Should we tell them? Should we tell them where this comes from? people have spoken yet again. Brother officer, black street soldiers of the Atlanta Police Department and all police departments. The first American police force to begin adopting this brainwashing propagandistic rhetoric about a so-called thin blue line was the early New York Police Department. And sold by the corrupt and racist Italian mafia for decades, New York Police Department. The descendant from slave catchers who hunted Frederick Douglass like a dog, New York Police Department. The lying, spying, wiretapping, currently being sued for the assassination of Malcolm X, New York Police Department. The stop and frisk Central Park jogger case, New York Police Department. But this is only the American origin of the term.
They gonna forget you.
Where did these pigs in New York draw inspiration from? We say it is no accident they want you using war on terror tactics against us, because we are fighting imperialism, not just here at home, but also abroad. From a thin red line. Anyone who remembers what your first grade teacher told you about red coats should know exactly which brutal colonizers I'm talking about when I refer to a thin red line. The British. These are the battle cries and racist dogma of genocidal military forces that sought to enshrine white supremacist domination across the entire world, including in Africa, including in our home. Keeping back the jungle, destroying those of us they called criminals and savages, and occasionally terrorists. Brother officer, anytime you begin to move and think in racist rhetoric that took inspiration from even worse racists used, Black GI, I'm urging you, lay down your arms, your bullets, your mace, your tear gas. I came here unarmed. Can you say the same? When I step off this microphone, I have no intention of causing violence. Can you say the same? Neither. So, for my final remarks, to the black political elite class of the city of Atlanta, a short and simple message. First and foremost, cancel the lease, make the forest a public park, do your civil rights history training somewhere else, do urban warfare training nowhere, free all political prisoners, and start spending more money on the community than on guns and tanks and fake cities you could run around in. Recognize your position. Many of you think yourselves a credit to the race, merely by your station. Have your nice clothes in your nice corner office. Advancement is not you in that office. Black faces in high places is not progress. Advancement only comes when the material conditions of the masses are lifted. Stop demolishing projects, stop rejecting rent control, start building free housing and affordable housing, and stand with the people who fought, died, bled, and voted for you against corporate interests. If you sell out the city to investors and capitalists, you will erode the ground of power upon which you yourself stand. It will not stop where it is now, a currently gentrified city that for the first time in decades is no longer majority black. But it will end in you eliminating the very electorate you rely upon for your power. To both the brother officers and the black political class, and then I will step down. Have you truly analyzed your place in history? Clearly not. Since you stand united in neglect, insanity is repeating the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. It has been 50 years since the war on black America, the war on drugs was started. Why do you stand united in this policing paradigm? Knowing it creates mass incarceration, knowing it hurts your predominantly working class people, knowing it that in our disproportionately dark prisons, slavery is still in practice. That's right. When a political class of people sends out soldiers that descend from slave catchers to send people to slave prison camps, and those people are black, you know what you call them? Black slavers. And there's nothing lower than a black slaver. Cross the line, do the right Cop City.
City! Stop Cop 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 City! No. All right, so we just got a few more people to speak. Next up, I want to hear from Tyre and Destiny.
I'm trying to ask you a question.
Yeah. Oh, that's okay.
Let's go, Destiny! You know. Okay, we're gonna start with the chant. So this might not be one that y'all don't know, but y'all gonna know it now. So it goes like from the west side, from the west coast to the south. To the south. Cop City, we want you out. Cop City, we want you out. I said from the west coast to the south. To the south. Cop City, we want you out. Cop City, I didn't hear you. From the west coast to the south. To the south. Cop City, we want you out. Cop City, we want you out.
Hey y'all, thank y'all for being here. Real quick, I'm here representing the Black Coalition. I'm gonna need every black person here to take out their cell phone members and people, residents living in and out of Atlanta who are opposed to Cop City. Our Instagram and the person holding down the work, or the organization holding down the work, is In Defense of Black Lives Atlanta. That's at IDBL Atlanta on social media. IDBL Atlanta, In Defense of Black Lives. Plug in. If you want to help and you want to organize with more black people, get with us. In Defense of Black Lives Atlanta. Thank y'all. Okay. Next, I want to be real clear about what Cop City is. Because I'm sure people here are supposed to know, but there's so many lies and disinformation, I'm going to get real clear about it. Cop City is the Atlanta Police's plan to tear down 400 acres of forest on the south side in the middle of a black community to build a militaristic training facility that is going to cost our city $85 million.
Say that ain't right! That ain't right!
At all. The Black Coalition demands of Atlanta, first and foremost, that there be no Cop City, not in the forest, not in a black neighborhood, not anywhere in Atlanta, not anywhere in Georgia, not anywhere near us, not anywhere far from us, that there be no Cop City. Yes. The second demand is that $85 million be given to the community for the community to decide what to do with. For the community to choose for ourselves how we spend that money, whether we choose education for children, housing for our families. What else can we choose? What else y'all want? What y'all want? Get it out! Get it out! Homeless shelters. Healthcare. Affordable housing. Affordable housing. There's so much we could use $85 million for, and $85 million every single year could go far. The third demand is for that land that they plan to destroy and use to build this police militaristic training facility be given to the people for us to do what we want to do with it. Whether that be grow food, whether that be to grow our own food, to have our own community centers, or to just be free in a space that feels good. Those are our three demands, and that's what we're moving towards. Thank y'all. I'd be wrong to sit here and pretend like this movement is not one of many. We are, as the Black Coalition, come from an abolitionist perspective, one that understands that we are following in the footsteps of our ancestors, one that understands that this is not a single moment, but this is a continual, protracted struggle that we continue to take and continue to move, and will continue to move from generations down the line and from generations back in the line, forward and back until the circle is complete. And in that, I'd like to introduce my good friend and organizer from Chicago, the Black Black Coalition strategy for community engagement came from the No Cop Academy movement and their work in Chicago that started in 2019 when Chicago police decided to build an extremely cop academy on the west side. Today, there's going to be a screening directly after this march. We will be walking from here to the location of the screening. It's about a 10-minute walk where they will be screening the first showing of the documentary. But you get to hear it firsthand from one of the organizers themselves, Destiny.
Let's go, Destiny!
Alright, can I speak to y'all for a moment? I said, can I speak to y'all for a moment? Okay, my name is Destiny Harris. I am a Black queer woman organizer from the west side of Chicago. Can we make some noise for that? So, as Sayu said, we know that this fight is not new. Abolition is not new. We have been talking about abolition for not 10 years, for 20 years, for 30 years. Abolition comes from slavery. This is not a new concept. Can we make some noise for that? So in that spirit, I'd like to talk a little bit about my hometown because we know that this is not a struggle that is isolated. So as Tayu said, in 2017, the mayor of Chicago tried to do the same shit that is happening here in Atlanta. Everybody say that ain't right. That ain't right. So what did the city try to do? They tried to build a $95 million cop academy in a predominantly black and brown neighborhood within the city of Chicago. Everybody say that ain't right. On top of that, this was a few years after the city closed over 50 public schools in one of the largest public school closings in United States history. Say that ain't right. And why did the city have $95 million coming out of our ass to fund cops? Everybody say that ain't right. So why is it that me, as a 5th grader, had to have my school closed down, right? Had to have half the city's mental health clinics closed down, but a few years later we have $95 million to fund the cop academy, right? Do police keep us safe? No! Who keeps us safe? We keep us safe! Who keeps us safe? We keep us safe! Right, so on top of that, the Chicago Police Department was already getting 40% of the city's budget. That is, and when you break the numbers down, that was about $4 million a day. Imagine what we could do with $4 million. Make some noise for that. Okay, so that's, when you calculate the math, that's $1.4 billion a year. Wow. Imagine what we could do with $1.4 billion a year. And a lot of you guys were talking about the mayor of Atlanta, right? We got to get him out of here, right? We got all these mayors, right, that are black and brown and serve black and brown cities and don't do shit in the interest of black and brown people. The same thing was happening in Chicago. Mayor Lori Lightfoot, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Black queer woman, first black queer woman mayor of Chicago. Black youth told her that we did not want a $95 million cop academy, that it did not make us feel safe, that we wanted money for schools, that we wanted money for housing, that we wanted money for healthcare. And what did she do? She laughed in our face. And what did she do? Not get reelected. So I need y'all to have the same energy that we had in Chicago. Mayor Lori Lightfoot, the first black and queer mayor of Chicago, the first mayor in over 40-something years to lose a reelection. To lose a reelection. We need to do the same thing here in Atlanta because, like we're saying, this fight is not new. I was 16 fighting against No Cop Academy in 2017. It's 2023. It's 5 years later and the same shit is happening across the United States. Say that ain't right. Say that ain't right. Say that ain't right. So I say all this to say solidarity is what's important because this is not just happening in Atlanta. It's not just happening in Chicago. It's not just happening on the West Coast. It's not just happening over here. It's happening all across the world. Say that ain't right. And the militarization of the police, how much y'all think these damn batons and shields they got cost? How many books do you think one of the batons could fund? Right? How many, think about all the gear, all the riot gear they have on, all the militarization that we see right now in front of our face. Imagine how many teachers that could fund, right? Imagine how many schools that could keep open, right? Down to the little shit, right? So all I'm saying is, I love y'all so much.
much. Thank y'all for having us here. Like I said, I think it's really important to talk about like the people that came before us and the people that came after us. Like I said, No Cop Academy was in 2017, right? After that, you know, defund is becoming a big thing, right? We have all these defund police department movements going on across the nation, right? We have Stop Cop City. Solidarity is what's important. And what we need to do is we need to learn from our history, because I bet you a lot of y'all out here didn't even know that No Cop Academy was a thing. If you knew what No Cop Academy was right now before this moment, make some noise. Alright, that's a few of y'all, but that ain't enough. So like I said, my name is Destiny. Thank y'all so much for having us. We're having a screening of the documentary. I know like Dayu and some of the folks from like the Stop Cop City Black Coalition, they pulled directly from No Cop Academy in strategy-wise, right? That's how some of the stuff that came to be today, that's where it came from. It came from Black and brown youth within the city of Chicago. Alright? Alright. So when I say fuck 12, y'all say fuck 12, fuck 12, fuck 12, fuck 12, fuck 12. Thank you. Alright, y'all.
We only have a few more speakers left. It's already past my bedtime, y'all, so I feel it. We only got a few more people left. Next up, we have Shantae.
Yes, Shantae?
Hey, how y'all doing tonight? It's cold, and we're out here for a purpose. My name is Shantae McLaughlin. I'm going to qualify myself real quick because we just had a gentleman saying that we should get jobs, right? I'm a self-employed human rights consultant. I ran for city council in East Point in 2021 under the guise of being someone with lived experience with mental health, under the guise of being someone that's justice impacted, under the guise of someone who's managed multi-million-dollar accounts and been the homeless person that we pass sleeping out here on these streets. So when I sit here and move my arm, I remember being incarcerated and having that police officer almost break my arm while I was pregnant with triplets in my belly. So when we talk about Cop City, we need to have a little more education. Let me qualify myself again. I'm in grad school at Morehouse School of Medicine in the Advantage program. Masters in Administrative Justice Involved Care. What does that mean? To rewrite the healthcare policies for our jails, prisons, and institutions. So when I say that we need to educate ourselves a little more, when it comes to things such as Cop City, right? We sit here and we say things like, we need more funding for our libraries. We need more funding for this. Guess what? The funding for Cop City comes out of our block grants. So when y'all start complaining about the potholes and the beautification, the money to fund that is coming from that. So you need to start saying, why is it that we have militarization in block grants? Why do our police officers need to have this equipment that if the city doesn't spend it, they lose this militarized equipment? So we need to start asking those kinds of questions. We need to start saying things like, hey, we need schools. Where can we take those funds from in our police budgets, in our city budgets, and where can we reallocate the funding so that we aren't sitting here building more jails and prisons, so that we aren't sitting here building cop cities, so that we aren't sitting here funding police who don't give a fuck about us. We need to start demanding that people who are in office, you know how they get in office? We vote for them. And when we vote for them, you know what it's called? A public servant, which means that they are here to serve the public. They work for us. It's not just about we're not going to re-elect. It's about you work for us. We can at any time get you out of office. I've gone on public comment before at the People's Agenda. Michael Julian Barnes and I had a nice little chat where I asked him, I said, well, why do we have to keep the ACDC open? And he said, well, since you know so much, how do we fund our libraries? That's what he said. I said, well, I'm sure the slave masters asked the slaves the same thing. Right. So when we start talking about defunding the police, when we start talking about stopping Cop City, where are they getting these funds from? We need to make them show us their line item budgets. When we have people not having sidewalks and the city council members who are accountable and responsible for things such as sidewalks, right? And they don't know that they even have a budget to fund this so that our kids aren't out here getting hit by police and hit by cars while they're telling us to get off the damn street. Right? So we need to stop just telling them
them to stop Cop City. We need to demand that they tell us where they're spending our taxpaying dollars. We need to demand that instead of these police officers being back here scared, you know why they're sitting here with all of this armor on? They're scared. They're just as scared as some of y'all are scared to say something. Because before today, some of y'all haven't said anything. And I'm not out here. You know where I've been? I've been sitting there with the Taylor English law firm. Where you want to talk about voter laws and stuff like that. Taylor English law firm is the one who wrote the voter suppression laws. How do I know? I consulted for them. Guess whose law firm that is? Governor Kemp, Secretary of State. So when we talk about not having businesses, we need to start learning how do you get a business through the Secretary of State. We're talking about capitalism. I'm the first one to say I like my designer bags and my designer shoes, right? And y'all might sit here and say whatever y'all want to say, but guess what? We need to start hiring people who look like us instead of saying, well, I can't work for them because they can't afford to pay me, so I need to go work over here in corporate America. Let me qualify myself. In college, I worked in mergers and acquisitions for one of the largest insurance companies in the world. So when we talk about things such as defunding the police, when we talk about Cop City, we need to start supporting each other. We need to start standing together. We got Miss Kathy Lights out here with Jarvis Light shirt on. She shouldn't be protesting and coming from Columbus at her age, having strokes and heart attacks and shit just to get justice for herself. We shouldn't have the Jimmy Atchisons of the world out here just by himself standing outside in front of East Lake demanding for Fannie Willis to investigate his son's murder. We need to start standing for one another. We need to start supporting one another. We don't start with the police. We got to go back to community police. We got to go back to a village. And until we sit there and we hold ourselves to account, we can't expect shit from these damn police officers or Mayor Andre Dickens. We got to support each other. We got to stand together and stop Cop City and stand in solidarity together. Thank you. Stop Cop City! 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 Okay, we have two more speakers. The next speaker is Jordan.
Vári dámy, J. Jordan, The first thing I want to say is thank you to all of the Atlantans here, the residents here, who have taken it upon themselves to defend and steward this land, where the state of Georgia, the city of Atlanta, and the counties of DeKalb and Fulton have failed. Second, I wanted to let you all know that I come from the Muskogee Nation Reservation in Indian Territory in Oklahoma, that I made the journey over here in my homelands to commune with my ancestors and to rise up with this community to defend this land. The third thing I'm going to do is turn around real quick because this is for you guys. You no longer have permission to be here. Yesterday I delivered your eviction notice to Mayor Andre Dickens to let you all know that the first peoples of this land know that you have failed to steward this community, know that you have failed to protect the graves of my ancestors, and that your eviction notice starts right now. Which is, if you haven't already and you're not already, please join an organization. I'm partial to Community Movement Builders, that's where I organize, but there are so many other folks out here that are down to connect with you if you want to know how to get plugged in past that. And with that being said, we're going to hear from the founder of CNB.
How y'all doing out here? Y'all good? Are y'all tired? Yeah! Y'all feeling good? Mayor Andre Dickens, is this enough black folks for you? Right. Mayor Andre Dickens, do we have enough people here from Atlanta for you? Right. Mayor Andre Dickens, do we have enough outside agitators for you? No. We are here as a unified movement of black folks, brown folks, folks from Atlanta, white folks, Indian folks, all folks who are against Cop City.
Because we know that we've said since the very beginning that Cop City will never be built. When Andre Dickens uses the language of outside agitators, he's using the language of Southern segregationists. He's using the language of the elite white political class that used to enslave black people, that used to Jim Crow black people. When these cops behind us wear the uniforms, they're wearing the uniforms of Southern segregationists. They've done nothing but update their history to replace the white Southern segregationists now with the black Southern segregationists and or the black gentrifier who support the white elite, the white economic elite who own Atlanta, who run Atlanta, who tell Mayor Dickens where he's going to put something, when he's going to put something, how much it's going to cost, and who's going to pay for it. When he tells Mayor Dickens, you do what I say, and we'll keep Buckhead here for you. You've been doing a good job. These are actual emails. You've been doing a good job on the policing thing, Mayor Dickens. I like the work you've been doing. I appreciate that good work you've been doing for me. And because of that, I'm going to defeat or tell my Republican allies not to vote to have Buckhead separate this time. But you got to keep up that good work. You got to keep gentrifying Atlanta. You got to keep sending these cops into black communities where 90% of the arrests that happen in Atlanta are done to black people. Do they know that? No. Do they care about that? No. That 90% of the people that you lock up are black people. They kept a jail open in Atlanta so that you can do what? Lock up more black people. Fulton County is building a $2 billion jail to do what? Lock up more black people. We know Cop City is nothing but a strategy for over-policing our communities. We know that Cop City is nothing but a strategy to stop our movements. And what movements are those? The movements against police violence and terrorism in our community. It is in 2021 that they introduced this idea to put Cop City out here to stop our movements. When people were talking about defunding the police, abolish the police, find alternatives to public safety, they said, hell no, we want more police. And they put that idea out there. And the movement was born to stop Cop City. This movement is 2 years old, and it doesn't look like it's going to stop to me. So you got to remember, the reason we did a march like this today was to say to all the naysayers, black folks don't want Cop City. Indigenous people don't want Cop City. White folks don't want Cop City. Atlantans don't want Cop City. Folks from outside Atlanta don't want Cop City. Nobody in the United States wants Cop City. The Palestinians don't want Cop City. The people in Latin America don't want Cop City. Nowhere in this world do we want Cop City. Tell the corporations what? Hell no. Hell no. Tell the mayor what? Hell no. Tell the people who are the developers what? Hell no. Tell these cops behind us what? Hell no. So we are here for a march today, which was to show that unity and strength. We wanted to make sure that we came in safety and we leave in safety. We wanted to make sure that we don't have any more political prisoners today. We have enough people right now that we have to defend. So when we did this march today, we put out the word that we wanted this to be a march about our unity and our safety in numbers. And as we wrap up today, that's what we want. It's not like we got to give them an excuse. They don't need an excuse to act like the pigs they can be. So we got to make sure, when you are around wild animals, I used to be a practicing attorney. When I would do none of your rights workshops, what I would tell people is, when you're around a cop, the same way when you're around a wild animal, what do you gotta do? You gotta be cautious, you gotta be careful, you gotta move a certain way, you gotta know which way to go, because you're looking to protect your safety.
That's right.
And right now, I'm looking to protect our safety. So as we depart here today, we are departing in unity. We are departing together. We are going to walk back in close quarters together where our cars were. If you're going to MARTA, you're going to walk close together with other people as you go to MARTA. If you need a van to pick you up, if you can't take MARTA, 2 blocks this way, by the plaza. So we want you to be safe, secure, because we want to be out here again to fight Cop City. We're here to do right.
Stop Cop City.
We're here to do right.
Stop Cop City.
We're here to do right.
Stop Cop City.
Let's go home.
Hey everyone, this is Alex with Unicorn Riot. We just heard from a bunch of different speakers outside of the Atlanta Police Foundation headquarters here in downtown Atlanta. As you can see, there's dozens of police behind me standing, protecting this building where the Atlanta Police Foundation is headquartered. They have gas masks, some have rifles. A lot of them are wearing helmets with shields over them. So folks were just speaking, bringing a lot of intersections together, including the over-policing of Black and Indigenous communities here in Atlanta specifically, as well as how the outside agitator narrative by police and the city seems to be, a lot of people don't agree with that.
You got guns, you got malice, you got everything around your waist. How the hell you fear for your life? My son didn't have no gun. He was unarmed. He didn't have nothing but his damn cell phone. And y'all shot him through his arm. And it ricocheted through his chest. And it hit both his lungs and his heart. And y'all gonna tell me that y'all fear for your life? Look at you. Look at what you got on. My son didn't have nothing. But y'all took this life. He had 3 daughters and a son. And those children are living now, growing up without their dad. How would you feel if it was your child? Does it have to happen to you for it to matter to you? Does it? You better think about it, because you know what you're seeing can roll over to your child. You're seeing. So believe you me, this is a pain that nobody wants to have, especially a mother. Fuck y'all. On my car this way, baby.
Okay, you got it. You need somebody to walk.
So someone, I believe the t-shirt said Jarvis Like, L-Y-K-E. I don't know if that was his mother, but seemed like a relative or someone close to that person saying that APD, Atlanta Police Department, shot them.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
You leave it alone.
Let's go.
What am I leaving alone?
You jumping up on it. I'm saying leave it alone.
For what?
Why not?
I'm just out here hanging out.
So do your thing.
Okay. So what are you talking about? No? Nothing? Good for you.
right, y'all. All right. All right. Come on, y'all. Let's go.
So the police are now like high-fiving and hugging each other and going back into the building slowly, but there's still a bunch, as you can see, lined up right in front of APF's headquarters. And some of them are going back in the white unmarked Busmax Rent-A-Bus white vans. So yeah, there's still a heavy police presence here in downtown Atlanta. A Black and Indigenous led rally started at the King Center, marched to the APF headquarters, rallied in front of there for a while with more speakers, and things ended, people are dispersing because the rally ended, not because police forced anyone to leave. But yeah, the police presence is pretty heavy still.
Hey, yo, fuck that.
And yeah.
Hey, yo.
Please don't touch my colleague, sir.
I ain't gonna touch your colleague, but one thing about it, they gonna know the fucking truth. And I am the truth. See the police looking at me? They know I'm the truth. ACR Radio, you shut me down.
If you want to just, you can introduce yourself. And if you want to say, like, how do you think this evening went? And, like, for you, why was it important to have this type of rally and march?
Sure. My name is Kamal Franklin with Community Movement Builders. I think the evening went great in spite of the bad weather, in spite of the reports that we got that Mayor Dickens was telling people not to come to this rally and demonstration. He actually called organizations, other folks, and told them not to participate in this rally and demonstration. So in spite of that, folks came out. We had a large contingent of Black organizations and Black individuals, Indigenous folks from Atlanta, folks from outside of Atlanta. We thought it was important to show that kind of strength and unity tonight, and that's what we wanted to do. As I said in the speech, we didn't want any more political prisoners tonight. Tonight was a march to show that we have solidarity, unity, that we are setting the narrative, and that it's our march, our people, and we're here to stop Cop City. We will do it again. It doesn't mean that we don't believe in civil disobedience and direct action, but there's a time and place for everything, and tonight was a place to make sure that we were all walking in safety, love, unity, and fighting against Cop City.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I got your name wrong. It's Kamal?
Kamal? Yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. Go ow instead of ooh.
Yeah.
I love the work that y'all do. I feel like
Oh, thank you. Is it cool if we like walk and talk a little more, or you want your privacy? Okay, no, so we'd be curious to hear kind of what, if you could sort of summarize and like what's your take on kind of the narratives that APF or Mayor Dickens have deployed against the movement here?
I think the narrative is that the movement is made up of anarchist white kids, and that's who's doing this, and so he doesn't have to pay attention. But there are anarchist white kids, and we like them being a part of the movement. We appreciate the work that those folks do, just like I hope they appreciate the work that we do. But we also know that this movement is so much bigger than just one set or one group. And that Mayor Dickens, every time students come out, or Black folks come out, or local folks come out, that they try to ignore that. But that is part of the heart of this movement and this organizing, and it will continue to be such. And that's why we fight to continue this movement and to keep it going. And again, we think this is part of the work that we need to do in order to struggle to stop Cop City. I might have to stop and see what's going on with these signs.
Yeah.
Oh, no, great. Thank you so much.
You got it.
So that was Kamal Franklin, founder of Community Movement Builders, a local nonprofit here in Atlanta. And yeah, so he was just explaining how there's like multiple different types of people in the movement here. And during the rally in March, throughout the speakers, they were saying how the outside agitator narrative is really the cops, and how 43% of the cops who are expected to train at the quote-unquote Cop City facility are actually going to be from out of state. Also that the outside agitator narrative on the other side, also that folks here in Atlanta actually do want people who aren't necessarily from Atlanta to come here, because they're saying it affects everyone, nationally, even internationally. So yeah, the COP president is still pretty large, but it seems like they're, at least some of them are heading away from the APF headquarters. But yeah, so this was a Black and Indigenous led march from the King Center to the APF headquarters. It has ended now. Kumau was saying how they didn't want any more political prisoners tonight, and not that they're against people who may be in jail or, you know, allegedly for doing certain things. They're, you know, just saying how they were saying how like the movement, there's lots of different things and there's a time and place for certain things, and that the diversity of tactics isn't necessarily a bad thing. So I think, do we want to stay up there?
Let's like maybe tail the police presence and then go down in a second.
And thanks everyone for tuning in. I know the data was a little iffy at times, and because it was raining pretty hard at some point, so the lens was a little splotchy at times, but thank you all for tuning in. This is Alex with Unicorn Riot. Chris has also been narrating and is filming. Sean is here on the ground as well, and Dan and Nico have been helping on the back end. And yeah, we're a somewhat small nonprofit organization, so any amount of support, whether it's just sharing our content on social media, or if you are able to give any amount of donation and join our community of supporters, you can go to unicornriot.ninja /donate. We also have an 8-year fundraiser ongoing right now. We're almost 8 years old. Yeah, so we're gonna stay live for just a little bit longer, show the police presence here in downtown Atlanta, but thank you all for watching.
I feel like they might try to grab groups of people, so.
I don't know, I gotta look it up on my phone, but I feel like,
Yeah, I was trying to infrared through that one van, but it didn't work. Yeah. Fun fact, AT&T, whose little Eye of Sauron you're looking at here, is one of the